Our last FBS matchup of the show, we have number 11 Oregon State, a 3.5-point road favorite at Arizona. This game carries an over-under of 56.5 points, and it kicks off at 10:30 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. Be sure to have a little bit of coffee for you. Stay up and watch this one, and you are going to want to stay up and watch this one. I wanted to talk about this game because Arizona is really interesting. They're a brand new football team that they were at the beginning of the year, and I'm not sure that we've really talked about them at all, if not just enough this season. This game flashed, I had to triple check this, Kelly, flashed Oregon State minus 8.5 very briefly. That also tells me that the models that the odds makers using to set the lines have not adjusted to Arizona. Now, the market caught up on Arizona, which is great, but if you're looking at opening marks moving forward, I'm probably targeting Arizona until they give me some lines that take this team pretty seriously. And it's tough because they're also missing their starting quarterback. Jaden Delores been out, but they have a new kid coming in, Noah Fifta, who's been excellent. He's been great. He has nearly 74% completion on the season, 8 touchdowns, 2 picks, and just 3 starts. I'm going to be honest, I'm not sure Delores gets a spot back. He might be a transfer portal candidate, again, even coming down from Washington State. I need to ask, how have your power ratings adjusted on Arizona given the recent developments?
Yeah, with the change at quarterback here due to injury, but we see it all the time. After the Stanford game, my model has upgraded Arizona since that time to current 6.5 points. I mean, we see it all the time. Quarterbacks get injured. They lose their spot for the time being. Backup comes in, plays well, and you don't get it back. Like, that happens at all levels. If Arizona continues to play this way, I could absolutely see that being a potential outcome here for Delora.
Yeah, he's really good. Oh, Fifita. I'm sorry. I mispronounced his name. I saw your spelling there. I want to make sure I get those right. So I like looking at intermediate throws and how well quarterbacks at this level can do them, because that's what NFL quarterbacks have to succeed in. That is the mark of good NFL quarterbacks. Can you throw intermediate? If you can, I trust you, because if you're an NFL caliber quarterback, or at least doing the things that NFL quarterbacks do well in college, I'm going to trust you. Fifita, he's the second best passer rating on intermediate throws in the country. He's behind only Jalen Daniels, and if you filter it out for minimum 100 dropbacks, he's number 1. So it's pretty good. He's doing really well. Arizona, I think, also counters Oregon State's run game really well. They're number 2 in rush EPA on defense, and they're really good at limiting explosives on the ground. I've talked about it before. If you allow a high success rate but a low EPA, that means that you are allowing fewer chunk yards, but 4, 5, 6 yards pretty consistently. Whereas if you have a high EPA and a low success rate, that means you're allowing a lot more explosives. This one's the other way. Arizona's pretty good at limiting explosives. And you're looking at Damian Martinez, who they're going up against on the other side. He leads the Pac-12 in rushing, but he has not been as explosive lately against the Pac-12 competition. He kind of built up a lot of those breakaway runs in non-con earlier in the year. Still super talented, though, but he has far fewer breakaway runs than I'd expect him.
Yeah, Brett, you said you're going to want some coffee and stay up for this game. Absolutely. It's got a watchability score of 8.5. It's my number 3 game of the week.
Wow.
It is not often, and again, we see it with Pac-12 After Dark and all that. It's not often, though, this year at least, that we've seen a top 3 game be in this late night window on Saturday night. So it might be the first time all year that we've had one like this. I have Oregon State minus 5.5. So you said it opened 8.5. Now it's down to 3.5, somewhere in there. I'm right in the middle, which is where I typically like to be between an opening line and a closing line. I don't know why, I just feel good about that. 65% win expectancy for the Beavers. You said you want to talk about Arizona. I'm glad we put this game on there because Arizona is worthy to talk about. I kind of want to talk about Oregon State. I mean, the Beavers were one of my preseason dark horse picks in the Pac-12. A lot of people said that. I wasn't the only one saying that. But the schedule was projecting to be manageable. I thought the defense would be top 30 good. And while I had the offense number 35, kind of what I said in the preseason was, I need to see it a little bit from DJU and this offense before I'm convinced that they're a legit contender, but the schedule really does set up in a way that's really nice for them. Well, at this point, Brett, now, I mean, I'm ready to say it. Like, the numbers have seen enough. I now have this offense number 8 nationally. Wow. It's actually the defense that's in the mid-30s now. So if the defense could, just pick it up a little bit more and be what I thought they'd be, again, they're still good, but if they could be what I thought they'd be, we'd really be talking about Oregon State. Overall, Oregon State ranked a season best number 18 in the power ratings. 9-3 is the most likely record. They got a 1-3 chance to win 10+ regular season games by my numbers. So I think this Oregon State team is definitely a team to keep an eye on. They've only got that one loss in conference play. Arizona's improved, as you noted, and as I said earlier. Wildcats offense, it's kind of gotten legit good as well. I've got them number 18 right now in the country in my unit rankings. The difference for me, though, the Arizona defense, they're number 69. It's the only unit in this game ranked outside the top 40. UCLA and Utah are still on the schedule as well for Arizona. It's a tough road ahead, not like Oregon State. My numbers assign an 85% chance to go bowling, though. That figure was just 40% in the preseason. So, I mean, by all accounts, everything is looking up for Arizona State, or for Arizona, excuse me. And who would have thought it'd be a change at quarterback that was made out of injury necessity that maybe spurred this thing along. With a win, Oregon State remains in the mix for a spot in Las Vegas. My numbers have a 27% chance that the Beavers end up in the top 2 if they get it done here. Bottom line, Oregon State minus 5.5, 35% chance that Arizona earns their first win in this series since 2018. It's a little misleading. They've only played once since then, but it's been a while since they've gotten a win in this series. And who knows, Brett? Conference realignment and what's happening. Again, Arizona moving to the Big 12 and what's going to be a great basketball conference, a good football conference too, but my gosh, basketball is going to be off the charts in that conference. Oregon State, we still don't know what's going to happen. When will these two teams play again? What will that look like? So I think both these teams are going to want this one, Oregon State especially. If I'm Oregon State and I'm Washington State, there's just extra motivation all year. And I know these kids aren't necessarily like, they're not the decision makers and they're not there long term. Like they've got a 4 or 5 year career if they end up staying and all that. Like I get it. But man, I'm thinking if I'm on that team and all this has happened and my school, my team, my program is being left behind, I know the kids on the other side didn't have anything to do with it either, but I want to beat them every single week. So there's that extra chip for both Oregon State and Washington State all year. How much does that actually impact it? I don't know. But for me personally, I would certainly feel some sort of way about it.
And Jonathan Smith feels that way about it too. He's
Oh,
a 60% cover coach in his career, and it's at least 5 years. So like, I get it. You said 85% chance to go bowling. Just being a pessimist and looking at the schedule, I don't know if I'd assign an 85% chance. That's why I lean on your numbers, because your numbers are objective and I am very subjective. But there is a path for Arizona Bowl eligibility. They do have to win 2 games here on out. Oregon State, not easy. UCLA, not easy. At Colorado, which I think is a big difference. Playing at Colorado is actually pretty tough right now. I mean, they're selling out stadiums. They have 150 celebrities on sidelines. Utah, not easy. And then Arizona State, which the numbers expect to win, but that's also a rivalry game in regionals. So I think it's going to be a tough uphill battle. Boy, if you're giving me 85% implied probability for them to go bowling and you give me a no side, I'd probably be betting the no side for Arizona.
I continue to be low. I mean, I got Colorado power rate number 70. I hear what you're saying about, in Boulder. Oh, okay. So here's what it boils down to. 65% chance to win in Boulder, 77% chance to win in Tempe, at Arizona State. They still playing in Tempe, I'm not sure. So there are the 2, quote, wins. But when those 2 alone aren't going to be enough to get them there because they have less than 100% implied probability, right? The other games, though, UCLA at home, Utah at home, both 40+% win expectancies. This game right here, 35%.
Wow.
Arizona State. That's their lowest. Yeah, I mean, dude, I'm just saying, this Arizona team, I don't think you definitely mentioned it. The market might have caught up to it. I'm suggesting maybe it still hasn't. Vegas certainly has not with their opening lines. This Arizona team, we'll see. We'll see how they play this week. If they win this weekend, you got it. That number is going to be north of 90% at that point. I mean, 95% to go bowling because all you need is one more. So
yeah.
We'll see. I think Arizona's a pretty darn good team right now.
I hope the markets are, because I know Bill Connelly has them in their top in his top 25. I hope the markets are really dialing in on your numbers, Bill Connelly's, because now I've flipped. In the past 6 minutes, we've been talking about this game. I've completely flipped. I may be a full-on fade for Arizona if we're getting too excited now, but that's a future thing. This one for me, like you said, if they win this, it's like a 95%. This one kind of feels like a gotta have it day for the Wildcats at home. I don't love the number now since it's come down so far. I'm probably looking for a live opportunity to bet Arizona if Oregon State jumps out to an early lead. Man, I can't believe that's psychological warfare, Kelly. You got me. I have now completely flipped my stance on Arizona through that conversation.
Just telling you what the numbers say, man. You said Bill's out of the top 25. I hadn't noticed that. I have a number 36 right now in the power rating.
Gotcha.